Hi friends, Monica here with Calligraphy, and in this video I just wanted to take a few minutes to show you one of my quick, easy, go-to DIY greeting cards or birthday cards that I make for friends. It takes probably 10 minutes or less, and if you're a busy mom like me but you really like to add that personalized touch, it's definitely one of my go-tos. With these, I use several colors of the Tombos, but feel free to rein it into just a few. So you just need a pen, and for this one I also chose to use a calligraphy nib, but you could use any pen to write out the greeting. And then I like to use watercolor paper with those pens, as well as some washi tape. So with that, we'll get started. First, you can see here some of the equipment that I'm using today, or the supplies I'm using. And first is watercolor paper that I've just folded, and I'm applying some washi tape across the middle. This is for a close friend. Her name is Jackie, and I have just taken a pencil to kind of draft out where I want to place her name before I start using the Tombow pens that we'll move into shortly. So always pencil kind of everything. It gives you an idea of spacing, and then you can erase and change and move stuff around. Here I kind of erased a little bit just so that I don't have to do as much erasing later. And for hers, I decided that I'm going to go rainbow colored and just change the pen for each color. We're using the Tombow brush pens, and I like to use the thick side just to give me some thickness onto the letter. And I'm not too worried about making it super perfect, again, because we'll start to add shadows later as well as highlights to kind of emphasize it a bit more. There's definitely some other things that you can do here to make it more interesting, or if you want to make it thicker, you could go over it with the second line for each part, or if you wanted to thicken like the edges or different parts of it just to make it more interesting, you can definitely do that. I figured with this piece there's already a lot of colors, and I'm going to use different lettering styles. For this portion, it's just going to be a general print here in all caps, and as I said, using different colors for each letter. You can also choose to just write directly over the tape if you want to just keep your lines in sync that way. I personally just don't at this point, generally because I know that I will get it all over my hands and smear it later, because on the washi tape it still stays pretty wet since this is a water brush pen, so the ink is pretty watery, and I just know myself, and I'm clumsy and I will get it all over myself. So with this, I just try to skip over the lines where they are, but it's meant to be there so that you can go over it if you want to make sure that everything is kind of in sync. And here, the crossbar on the E, I'm just trying to match it to kind of close to where it is for the A. And then after that, I'm going to go through and shadow each of the letters. For me, I generally pretend my light source is kind of up into the left side, so I'm usually doing shadows on the right and down for each letter, or each portion of the letter. Once we're done there, I move into highlighting a little bit, and so with this it's the opposite. I'll usually just do the top left side, and I'll just usually stay at the very top. Personally, I feel like I could probably get better at some more highlighting and maybe do some extra, because I do think it gives lettering a nice good pop. top, but for the most part I just kind of stick with what I'm comfortable with and just stick to the top right, kind of adding longer bits and then some dots afterwards just to show it kind of trailing off. Again, I want to get better at it. I'll probably try to play with some other ways to highlight, but yeah, you can add more just to give it better effects and even to different parts of the bottom if you want to, but try to stay in that kind of top left side, thinking about your light source. So once that's done, now we will pull out the washi tape and then you've got nice clear space to write out your happy birthday. I chose to do this with an oblique pen, dipping into some Sumi ink here, and I've written out happy birthday probably a million times at this point, so I just kind of go for it here. However, just like writing out the word, you can take a pencil and draft out how you want it to be, where you want it to be, make sure that your spacing kind of fits. With this, it's, as I said, a really close friend, so I wasn't too concerned with trying to make it super perfect and in line, and as I said, I've written out happy birthday probably a million times, but I'm not selling this piece or making it for anybody particularly or a client, so I didn't worry about having to try to draw lines and make the perfect spacing and wording and everything for it, as long as it was kind of aesthetically pleasing. And I like to mix up the different lettering styles, so having the all caps in her name and then mixing in the kind of calligraphy that looks very cursive-ish, but in that hand lettering style for the birthday piece. So I hope you enjoyed following along with me as I just made my kind of DIY greeting card. It's kind of one of my go-to designs to do that's just really quick and easy, and it's obviously really personalized, so it gives it a nice touch for any of your friends. Hope you were able to follow along and are able to recreate. Share yours with me in the comments. Thanks.